And here we are. We are live or alive.
Well, parts of me are not all, but I try.
Parts of yeah. What was it they say in England? Something about parts of your working, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Speaking of England, one of our guests today is from Durham, but he can't help it. And the other two gentlemen are originally from North Dakota. So I'm going to find out if they met on, is there a dating app for bands where you find bands? If not, there should be. I don't mean a dating app, but you know what I mean? There should be a band finder app if there isn't one already.
That's right.
Let's build one of those.
Yeah.
So the band is called Raynes, and you will see their website floating across the bottom. They've got three lovely heads. They're all in one place for a change. And without further ado, all the way from I have no idea where, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Please greet Raynes.
Hello, chaps. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you guys?
Where are you? Where are you right now?
We are in North Dakota right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh.
Long way from you guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Are you doing okay for weather?
Do you know what? It's actually really hot here. It's about 32 degrees. So I'm loving it.
How typically English is this? We're talking
Yeah.
to three rock stars, and she asks about the bloody weather.
Well, it's asking about their bowels, isn't it?
Yes, no, we don't know them well enough to ask about
By the end of the show,
their
we will.
fiber habits. So, what part of North Dakota?
Little place called Bismarck.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm from Mandan originally, which is just a city right across the river, but we're in Bismarck right now. For the sake of this, let's say Mandan, because we want to put Mandan on the map.
Okay. Well, it took four musicians to put Liverpool on the map.
That's a point.
So it might only take, depending on the size of Mandan, it might only take three. You never know.
Small, 25,000.
Yeah.
Well, I was fascinated to read the story of how you guys actually got together. So please introduce yourselves, left to right or right to left, depending if your screen is mirrored. Introduce yourselves and then tell us the story of how North Dakota met Durham, because it's an unlikely pairing.
Sure. I'm Matt. I'm
Matt.
from a town a little 100 miles north of here.
And I'm Mark. I'm the British one. So I'm the one from Durham originally.
And I'm Joe from Mandan.
Aforementioned world famous Mandan.
And yeah,
And so
we met under pretty unusual, but becoming more usual now, I think, as social media sort of is becoming more and more powerful and influential. But I was in Durham at the time, and I've always done music in some capacity, playing all the local bars and pubs and stuff like that. And didn't really know what I was doing, but always knew I wanted to do this properly, however that may have looked. And then I was posting stuff on my own, very new YouTube account. And it was actually the first YouTube video that I posted. And I ended up getting featured on one of those vocal feature pages, something like that. And then you guys stumbled across it.
Yeah. Joe and I were looking for a singer. We had started a project. We had, songs, but neither of us, we can both sing, but not nearly as well as Mark. So we were looking for someone, someone handsome, someone tall, who could sing.
Preferably with money, yeah.
Or mileage.
Or at least a bed, a roof over his head.
Mileage.
Yeah.
Or a
Excellent.
couch, yeah.
So how did the audition, was there an audition process, or how did you, did you just get on
No.
Zoom?
Was there an audition process?
I stumbled across a video, of Mark on Instagram, and for me, I was hooked right away, and I showed Joe, and we were like, oh, man, we gotta get him here. And so I wouldn't say it was an audition, but we did. I think I messaged you a demo of something, and then we got on a call and just kind of chatted for a bit to see, if he was serious enough to come to. We were in LA at the time, and then I think 10 days after the first time I reached out, he was on a flight to LA, and so we all met. And I guess it was not an official audition, but if he had been terrible, we would have sent him back for sure.
I passed whatever audition there was. So
We actually, the first thing we did was we went to the Gibson showroom and we played for a few hours. And it was fireworks immediately. Everything clicked. We got along personally and professionally. And it's actually, I just thought about this today, but the guitar that I used, because you play their guitars there, the guitar I used, this was in 2017. I now own that guitar.
Oh,
Wow.
great.
From the first
That's
time we
right.
played.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wow. You put it on the layaway plan since 2017.
Still not
Yeah.
paid off.
Yeah. So how on earth I mean, the connection here is obviously is the wonderful Melissa Kasirik, the PR maven. And I of course, looked at all of your stuff and listened to your music. You were actually opening for an old friend of ours this coming weekend. Tell us all about how that happened and who that is.
Yes, so we are honored to be opening up for Ringo Starr and his all-star band this Saturday over in New Lenox, which we are so excited about. So it's so crazy. I mean, we started working with a new manager at the beginning of the year. Her name's Crystal Gans, and she's been nothing but amazing, honestly. And she put us in touch with TKO, the booking agent, and our booking agent, Jim Lenz, over at TKO. And Jim, I believe, is he helps put on the event in New Lenox itself. So we ended up getting on the bill. And yeah, that's just, we've been trying to do this for the best part of sort of 7 years, albeit 2 years of COVID and visa hurdles to jump over and stuff like that. So we kind of pretend like this is our second year, really. But no, for our first year of playing original shows, it's been amazing. So obviously to say we're opening up for, of course, what a legend Ringo is, it's incredible.
He's lovely too. He's really lovely. And he's
good sense of humor.
Good sense of humor. And, he's 83 and he still drums like, drumming is a real workout for anybody who's never actually sat behind a drum kit. It's not just for your noggin, because you have to think with all cylinders firing, hands and feet.
I've slept behind one.
Yeah, she slept under several drum kits.
Several.
Yeah. And
that's another story.
And
another program.
I've jumped off several into the splits on the front of the stage, but that's another story. But yeah, when you think back to, he's completely self-taught, a lot of the Beatles songs would not just have the groove that they have if it wasn't, Ringo had a really big part in the arrangements when you think about it. So,
and he's left-handed.
And he's left-handed. So every kit they would play, in England, you show up to a club or a pub, there's a tatty old drum kit. And
Always.
and they're all set up for right-handers. So Ringo had to learn to think, backwards on all of that stuff.
So I have to change glasses. These are my shades, and these are my reading glasses. You have to bear with me. I'm 94, nearly 95, and I'm a bit of an old fart when it comes to age. Oh shit! Did I just say fart? Yeah. So where do you actually rehearse and record now that you are established?
Yeah, it's a fairly unorthodox way of doing things for us, just because we all live in different cities currently. So I'm over in Miami, Joe's here in North Dakota, and Matt, you're over in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Wow.
So but we often get asked that question, how does it work? But we've managed to navigate being apart kind of from the jump, really, because of our circumstances. So we've been very good at learning how to sort of practice, record, write, all of the above separately. The preference is always to be together, obviously, and that's when the real fireworks do happen. But what we tend to do now when it comes to recording and stuff like that, or rehearsing, before we go on our run of shows, we'll meet up maybe like a week before in a place that makes sense for us all to be. And then we rehearse a week and we do some writing or do some recording. And then that's and then we go on our run of shows, and then we all go back to our home cities for a little bit. But at the minute, I think
it's amazing, isn't it?
I was back, I was back in England for a bit, and I went back to Miami for one day, and then I jumped straight on the road. So I'm not there very often, but that's part of what I signed up for.
Wow, I mean, that's a story in itself.
Yeah.
When you come to do the Netflix documentary, which you surely will.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, but thank God for technology. I
Yeah, I
know.
know. Yeah.
I know now old-fashioned phone calls, and now everybody wants a Zoom meeting. So, it's hair and makeup all day long. But if it wasn't for the Zooms and the StreamYards that we use, it'd be really difficult to pull it off, wouldn't it? I mean, you can't write over the phone.
One good thing is you can wear like sweatpants with your good tops, no?
Oh, yeah.
Or no pants.
Yeah. Or in
I
Joe's
have
case, no
nothing to say on
shirt
that
quite a long time.
That's crazy. So tell us about the current EP 49. Obviously, it's around 1849 and the American Gold Rush. How did that come up in conversation that you guys were all fascinated about that period of time and what happened? And so how did the songs come out of that, and what was the genesis?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, boy, I've got an answer that takes like 3 hours, but I'll do the short version. So I think we have and had a lot of songs just in folders and drives and hard drives kind of since we started. And there were these 5 in particular that are on the EP that we kind of kept coming back to, and they all were written roughly around the same time, sort of at the beginning when we all started. But then we sort of were prioritizing writing other stuff together once Mark came along. So we were focusing on that, but still remember, that we've got these other good songs. And because they were all written around the same time, they had a similar like sonic character, right? They seemed like they could be part of a project. So then, I guess we were, just thinking like the Gold Rush. It's not that we have any particular affinity for like the year 1849 in particular, but
Well, I do, because that's when she was born. But
Hey. Elder abuse. I put up with it all the time. I put her up for adoption, but I can't find a blanket big enough to wrap her in to put her on.
thank you,
But I
Mother.
try. However,
No,
do continue.
I rudely interrupted you. Carry on.
no, that's fine.
1849 Gold Rush.
Yes, right. So, our thought was there seemed like there were quite a few parallels because when we were thinking about this and working on it, we were out in LA last year and very literally trying to, make it and try and, kind of stake our claim. And I started thinking, Mark actually, like a lot of, the Gold Rush participants, he came from another country across the ocean, went to California, and tried to make it work. And so our thought was just kind of, I guess that was a genesis of it. And then
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that LA is a huge magnet for, we came here from England. My husband is also a musician and producer, and he came here from Germany. And LA is a huge magnet. But what I'm happy to see, again, with the advent of technology, and I think coming out of COVID, is that music is really become sort of decentralized. It used to be acting and music. It was LA and New York. And now there's such a scene absolutely everywhere, from Memphis to Atlanta. Obviously, Nashville's always been a thing with country. But, you guys are up there rehearsing in North Dakota. You can literally be anywhere and do your craft now, right?
Exactly. And thank goodness, because of, like I said, our circumstances kind of made us pivot from the typical route. But no, I think there's such an appetite for music all over the world, as there always has been. But I think you're right. There's always been these localized scenes. And I think I was certainly under the impression when I first came out to LA in sort of 2017 that we had to be in LA. That was the only place that you could go to make it. But I think you're right. After COVID, then, everyone's learned to work remotely and sort of being in person, while still very important, isn't completely necessary all the time. So we just kind of go wherever our fans want us to, and wherever our music kind of touches people, which luckily and is sort of all over the place. So so far so good.
Have you done anything in Canada or overseas yet?
Nothing in Canada, but we
quite a bit in the UK.
Quite a bit in
honestly.
the UK, yeah.
Newcastle, Durham, London, those are kind of the 3 hot spots that we've spent some time and played some shows in.
Well,
I will say though, we would love to play Canada because sort of recently there's been quite a for some reason there is a line dancing community in, I think, Quebec or in the surrounding areas of Canada that love to line dance to our music. And I was thinking we should go there and play a show because that would be very fun. To have the whole audience doing the line dance would be quite fun.
Well, I will introduce you to a dear friend of ours up there who is a bona fide rock star in Montreal. His name is Jonas Tumulty, and his band Jonas and the Massive Attraction play. Last time we saw them, they were at the Canadian Centre, 23,000 seats, and he sold out in an hour.
Wow.
So,
in an hour. Wow.
Yeah. So he's a really, really big, you know, he can't walk down the street in Montreal or anywhere in Quebec. And he's an English speaking and French speaking rocker, but he sings in English. So I will definitely make sure that
You're in touch,
Melissa and Crystal get in front of Jonas and his people and just see if we can't put something together. If you don't ask, you won't get, right?
Exactly. There's a saying in the northeast of England, in you know where I'm from, Geordie, shy bands getting out. So you got to ask.
That's
her,
right. Shy bands getting out.
Getting out.
You should just make a T-shirt out of that and have people with a hashtag. And people be like, "What?
What's out?"
I used to work in a terribly posh pub in London called the Admiral Codrington, and it was behind the back of Harrods and the back of Peter Jones. And some kid came in one day with a T-shirt with AIR, HAIR, LAIR on it, and I went, hello. I said, "What does that say?" He said, hello. Hello. Like, I'm like, "Oh, hello." He's like, "Precisely. Could I get a pins number 7?" You know.
Take a check.
And will you take? Yeah, this guy came in every Friday night and had 2 drinks and tried to pay with a check. What?
But he was posh because he said, hello.
Hello, exactly.
He was still a tosser, though. His show wasn't going to take his
Still a
checks.
tosser, a posh tosser.
Posh tosser, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I like shy bands getting out. So you're going out on the road, obviously, this week, doing a show with Sir Ringo. And you've also got a whole bunch of stuff on your Raynes music website, which is going across the bottom here. Where else are you headed, and who are you playing with? Who are you sharing the stage with?
So we have the night before we're playing in New Lenox. We're playing a headline show in Rockford, Illinois also. Tickets are still available for that show. It's actually our first time ever playing in Illinois, so we're very excited about that. 2 back-to-back shows, which is going to be great. And then after that, we're heading down to Nashville for a week and a half or so. We have a couple of shows based down there. And then after that, we have a little bit of a break. We're playing a homecoming show actually up in North Dakota in October. And then we have a break in October. And then November, we're back over to California. We're playing, I think, Thousand Oaks, Anaheim. And then,
Right.
So, yeah, we're kind of all over the place at the minute, which is
Wherever the
great.
wind blows us next.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in Nashville, you will have to stop by and have a refreshing adult beverage at a place called the 8th Room. It's owned by a dear friend of ours called Hollis, and it used to be a very famous country joint called Douglas Corner, and it's on 8th Avenue South. And Douglas Corner literally launched the careers of Trisha Yearwood and not Garth Brooks because he was the boot bomb, but a ton of big country stars got their start. And Hollis and his wife Erin have turned it into this glam kind of disco mirrorball 70s groovy club called the 8th Room. So before you go to Nashville, I'll send you guys his information. Make sure, just check the calendar and see what's going on because they have some amazing nights there.
Have another boogie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We lived in Nashville for 3 years, and it's, but it was 30 years ago, and it's just changed so tremendously. It's unbelievable. Have you played there before?
A bit, right? We've played a couple things.
We played a few bits and pieces. Not a headline show yet, but no, definitely somewhere that we would like to play more. I mean, Crystal's pretty much based out of Nashville, and Jim, our booking agent, is based out of Nashville. So our team is based out of Nashville. So I would imagine we're spending a lot more time there in the next, couple of months. And
Yeah, good.
Great.
Yeah,
Well,
we-
you definitely need to know Hollis. He's a mover and a shaker. He knows everyone in town.
He did
We love-
threaten last week that he's going to go to England to see.
Oh, he's bought Oasis tickets. He's going
Oasis.
to England.
Oh, wow, that has really caused a ruckus, those tickets.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
What do you guys think about this whole, Ticketmaster versus brown paper tickets versus Evite thing? I mean, does it affect you as a band per se, or just as a consumer?
I think right now it doesn't. We're not famous enough for for it to affect us too badly. So I mean, and honestly, I can't even speak as a consumer because I've just been in this band and not going to shows for the last few years.
Yeah,
So
of course, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's just, Ticketmaster, good grief. Come on, people.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is, but there must be a better way of doing it than is currently being done.
Yeah, I would agree. And how about you? That he's lurking in the back. He doesn't want to talk to me. Did I make
I do.
did I make you sad when I said you probably got no pants on?
He's probably not sad because he's got no pants on.
Probably.
Yeah, he can't move.
I have a thought on this. I would like to see these ticketing platforms to make it so that if anyone tries to resell that ticket,
Yeah.
100% of whatever that profit is goes back to the artist. And then I think that will prohibit people from scalping because they're not going to make any money off of reselling these tickets.
Yeah,
Right.
Make it so, yeah, I buy a,
Yeah.
an Earnest ticket for $50 and I try reselling it for 150. That means Earnest is going to get that extra 100. But why the heck would I sell that? That's stupid. I'm not
Yeah.
going to see anything from it. And that's going to prevent people from keeping hiking these prices up. That said, I know nothing about this stuff.
Yeah, a dear friend of ours from London, Ritesh Patel, has something called the Ticket Fairy. I think it's ticketfairy.com. And what he's built is actually quite brilliant, where if you're sort of an influencer or you're the man or girl about town and you get a ticketing link, you become kind of like an Avon lady for a minute. And you say, okay, make me the affiliate. And if you sell 9 tickets, you buy your ticket. And then if through your link, 9 other people buy tickets, yours becomes free. You get a rebate. So he's got fans acting as a sort of a sales force army, which is fantastic. So the incentive there is not to scalp it and mark the price up, but the face value of the ticket, you can earn a free ticket if 9 friends buy through your link. So that's kind of clever too, I think.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's another good
That's
idea.
great.
The Ticket Fairy are doing. So yeah, they're trying to get into venues. But again, the thing with Ticketmaster and Pacquiao and these guys is they pay venues $1 million a year so that they can have the exclusive ticketing rights to that building. And so, how the hell is anybody going to compete that? Yeah, Debbie's just saying, I miss the days of camping out to buy tickets when they were cheap. That was part of the fun. You'd go and get in line and meet new people and same time next year and all of that.
Chair, yeah.
And Sammy, yeah, me too. Sammy's in Atlanta. She does all of Edgar Winter's digital social stuff. So it's just a shame the way the industry's really changed from all angles. It's like now, unless you sell merch and tour, boy, you're not going to retire off Spotify, are you?
Yeah, we definitely in the mix of that right now. Yeah, I mean, it's for us, touring is the most, well, for me at least, speaking for myself, touring is definitely the most enjoyable part, being on stage. But you're right. I mean, without that, and especially without merch sales, it's almost impossible to, even if you are super successful with the streams. I mean, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's something like 0.003 cents per stream or whatever it is. And
exactly right.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to make any real livable income from just that alone. So live music is such an important part of it.
Well, the other thing I'm going to do is I'll introduce you to, in Houston, speaking of decentralized, Barry Coffing. He runs We Get Music and MusicSupervisor.com. I'll get with your management folks and get an account opened up for you there. It's free, and you load up your stems, your lyrics, your your instrumental tracks, all the versions. You fill out a bunch of metadata. So basically what Barry's done is he's built Google for music supervisors. So they can go through and say, I need in the key of D at 128 beats a minute in Turkish with an Arabic ode, a female vocal, and it must contain the word love or whatever. And it just goes through, boom, pops it up. They can put it in their cart, and it's all pre-licensed. It's non-exclusive, so you keep your publishing.
Yep.
And they just split whatever the placement fee is, because that's another great way to to try and boost the income is placements. And then if you can get on a national commercial, well, boom, now your music's everywhere.
Exactly. And you know what? We've come painstakingly close a few times to getting those placements. And it's, if we hear the words, you guys are so syncable, which is great, but we have yet to have a sort of a significant placement. But that's definitely something that we would love. I mean, you're right.
I'll introduce you to Barry and his
great.
whole career. And for the audience, when they say syncable, you don't mean like the Titanic. You mean SYNC, right?
I was just thinking of that.
Speaking of things that Liverpool's famous for, the bloody Titanic. Whoops. So it's just incredible to me how hard young musicians have to work nowadays. You have to be a marketing manager, a content creator, good at your craft, great at your craft, dedicated.
Nice to your fans.
Nice to your fans. Not nice to two old broads from Los Angeles. But so the EP 49, let's get back to that before we wrap up. How did the songs come about, and how do you choose which order to put them in?
It's interesting. So, I think with this one in particular, like I mentioned, we had a number of songs that we just kind of couldn't forget about. There were some that sit in the folders forever, and they may not be quite up to snuff, and so they're not a priority. But these 5, some of them we wrote together in LA way back in 2017. I think a couple were even before. I mean, they were started at least before Mark joined up. And then I think the order of this one, it was sort of in my head, the narrative of the kind of the feel, I guess, of the EP of the project, because it's with the 49 sort of theme and the gold rush and whatever. There's a lot of like hopelessness and despair and kind of feeling like, failure, right? Which is obviously a very, I don't want to say similar, but like a relevant experience if you're any sort of artist or creative, or maybe you're just
absolutely
frustration at the very least.
Rejection,
yeah.
And so we, the first 4 are all, I think they sound lovely, but they're pretty like depressing or pretty sad, right? And then the last one is on the track list is called Babylon, which is is that one of our oldest? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all kind of one of our oldest. And that is kind of the glimmer of hope at the end, which we wanted to do because then our next project kind of comes from that.
Okay.
So we kind of to foreshadow the next thing.
Yeah.
My husband Martin's been working, probably about 10 years now. His project is called Geist, like Zeitgeist, and it's a 3-step process. So he had Book of Mirrors first, which was the self-reflection, the everyman story. What am I going to do with my life? Right, wrong, and then Book of Shadows, which the guy goes down into the abyss, and now he's working on Book of Light. And I think more and more we're going back to that storytelling of the 70s. People argue with me all the time, say the 60s was the greatest generation for music. But if you look at the songwriters and the storytelling that came out of the 70s, some pretty incredible stuff. Carly Simon, James Taylor, Linda Ronstadt, and the Eagles, and I could go on. I think this new generation, your generation, is really kind of yearning, especially after the lockdown of COVID, for not just, pablum and pop tunes, but really getting to know the artist and the backstory and learning the story of the songs and the characters and all that, which is why I love your project. And I was very happy when Melissa suggested, we get you on TeaFlix. And have a little chit chat and a cup of tea, or
a drop of the hard
or a
stuff.
pint of wine. Because
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I've got to get myself a glass now.
Hey, I said, I'm 94, nearly 95, so I can do what the hell I like.
Whatever you want. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely right. As our regular viewers will know, for our esteemed guests, Madam has a penchant for writing limericks. She's also the limerick lady. She just put this book out, Mrs. McCartney's Liverpool Limericks and Other Random Irish Haikus. And so we didn't know you when we released the book, but nevertheless, here is the reading of the Raynes limerick. Are you gentlemen ready?
Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Wow.
A 1, 2, 3. We enjoyed. You could hello.
And I didn't even have a drop. It's just the smell of the barman's apron.
We
that did
enjoyed.
this,
We're going in.
Okay, you're right.
And a 1, 2,
2,
3.
3. We enjoyed meeting Raynes, quite the blend. 2 Yanks and a Pommy, their friend.
From Durham he came, fit right into their frame. Their future is right round the bend. Ta-da! There you go.
I love that.
We'll email it to you.
Okay.
Yes,
please.
we love that.
Absolutely. And all of you folks, you can go to raynesmusic.com. You can find Raynes. You can find these lovely gentlemen on social media. Go check out their tour schedule. If they're coming anywhere near you, buy a ticket. And like I close out every show, don't rent your music. Download it, buy it, because these kids are awesome and they need to pay the rent and keep doing it, because we need it. We need your music in our lives. So fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Joe.
Yes, lovely.
Thank you. Our pleasure, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you all of a sudden.
Oh, lovely.
Yay!